Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking. I'm your host for this podcast. This is the Oakley Podcast, Trucking Business and Family. On today's episode, we got a couple of new dispatchers sitting down with me, and we're going to talk to them, kind of introduce them to the family out there of listeners that listen in every week, and we're going to talk to them about, maybe how they got here, their background, some of the things that they've encountered since they've started working at Oakley, and what it's like to work with owner-operators. So we're going to get started with that here in just a minute. But first, I need to do an Oakley update sponsored by Aero Truck Sales.
Aero Truck Sales has been in business for over 60 years and a longtime partner of Oakley Trucking and the Oakley Podcast. Trey Visor and Keith Wilson do a great job at putting you in the right truck to fit your needs and our needs here at Oakley. They carry all makes and models to choose from with on-site financing through transport funding. So whether you're a seasoned owner-operator or a first-time buyer, be sure to contact Keith Wilson at Aero Truck Sales at 573-216-6047 and tell them you heard it on the Oakley Podcast.
So on the Oakley update today is, I was talking to Toby out the shop a while ago because I wanted to get it right. Two different things going on here at the yard. One is we are paving the rest of the parking lot. Everything from we had a little section over here behind the office by those silos, but the main thing is the east parking. Everything by the fuel islands, where we had some wreck trailers, the clean out over there, all that stuff is going to be paved. So you're going to have to kind of watch what you're doing when you're coming in. This is happening, and by this comes out, this is Wednesday. It comes out next Wednesday. So a lot of it will be done, but not all of it. So just pay attention as you're coming through here, because it's going to take a little while to get everything done, and just be mindful of where you're going and if it's prepped or not and ready to be asphalted the next day. Don't mess it up if you can. So the other thing that goes along with that is the parking out here. So parking, and really why I'm talking about parking, it's really to talk about the loaded pad. So we've got two concrete strips that we call loaded pad to drop loaded trailers on. And there's one here behind the office, the new office, that's, a lot of people park back here, but the loaded pad is only from about where the driver's lounge starts, a little ways towards the new office. It's not the whole thing. I don't know exactly how many feet it is, but I actually walked out there a while ago and looked at it just to make sure. Be mindful of that. If you don't have to park on the loaded pad, leave that for somebody that needs it, please, because we run into issues sometimes where we need to drop a loaded trailer. A guy needs to drop a loaded trailer, and he can't. Even if he's here on the weekend, he sometimes needs to drop a loaded trailer so he can run to Walmart, run and get truck parts, things like that, and he doesn't have a place to do it. So we also have the loaded pad, the strip on the east side over by the clean out, and typically we park pneumatic tanks in that area. So just be mindful of whether you're on a loaded pad or not, and try to stay off of it. Also, especially if you're bobtailing. I had a guy call today actually and was talking about he'd come in on the weekend and there was a lot of bobtails parked over here taking up. I mean, you got to park somewhere, I get it, but try not to do it on the loaded pad. Give guys room to be able to pull their truck in there and drop the trailer if needed. So all I got on that. Appreciate everybody keeping that in mind. Okay, let's meet Brandon Stone and Lawson Tallie. Hey, guys, what's going on?
Good, man.
Last minute notice, twisted your arm, said, hey, we need to do a podcast, we've done a lot of the dispatchers out there. I don't know if y'all have seen any. You ever watch the podcast?
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes.
We've had some of those guys on in the past, several of them out there. Matter of fact, Manuel, you work next to Manuel. We had him on here. He was sweating bad.
He told me all
he didn't
about
want to do it.
He was giving me bad advice.
Did he?
Yeah.
But he did it, and he did a good job. So we've had a bunch of them come through here. So, and I think it's good to, for you to come out, being new here, people to get to see you, kind of know that you are a real person and not just a dispatcher.
Yeah.
You do have a life, outside of trucking, and you do things other than this. Not much, but that's kind of all what we do. But I think it's good to do that. So going to get into some other questions here, but real quick, let's just start with a self-introduction. Lawson, you go first. Tell us who you are.
My name's Lawson Tallie. I'm from Beebe, Arkansas. 22. I'm a young buck, but
22. You are.
But just getting it done. I went up to Arkansas State University and then came down here to work right after college.
Nice. So really, the main job you've had, I mean, you worked before that, though.
Yeah.
You always worked, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked up at my family's got an automotive shop in Searcy, and I worked there all throughout high school and did that for a while and did some farming on the side too, some row crop farming.
Okay.
So
what about hobbies?
I like hunting a lot. Big duck hunter when I can. Obviously, now that's changed a little bit, but I'd say that, and really that's about it. That and working.
Yeah, about all you got time for. Isn't it?
Yeah.
No wife, no kids.
No kids, no wife.
You free man.
I know it. That's awesome.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, my name is Brandon Stone. I'm from right here in North Little Rock. Born and raised here my whole life. I went to North Little Rock High School. I'm 23 years old. When I get time, I like to camp, kayak, anything really outdoors. Not a big hunter, you know. I might change that working here. Yeah, I like to get out there.
Well, liking the outdoors, I mean, you're in Arkansas. That's the place to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good place to do it.
Yeah.
So this is y'all's first taste of trucking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never drove a truck.
Mm-mm.
Never really been associated in the trucking business until now.
You're right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you came in eyes wide open. Of course, I guess we went through the interview process.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to you, had everybody talk to you a few times, decided, made a decision, okay, let's get him hired. Well, one key factor now, and I've said this before on episodes, is you guys had to start in the shop.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It wasn't bad. I mean, I was kind of used to it. I worked for my parents, so all that kind of work was pretty much used to it. But as far as the big truck tires and all that, I'd never really done a whole lot of it. And working on the trailers, of course. But as far as mechanic,
how long did you stay out there?
I was out there for a month.
Okay. What about you, Brandon? Did you learn a lot out there?
I learned a lot out there. I used to doing stuff with my car, working on vehicles and stuff, and throwing in the shop, it's a little bit different with the big tractor tires. And I was out there for about a month. Thankfully, I was out there when it was kind of cool outside. I got very lucky. Very lucky. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's a cool experience. Like, I think it kind of weeds through the people that would actually want to work here versus people who don't,
because when we told you had to go through this work, start out in the shop,
I was like, think? Man, I really want this job, I'll do it. Yeah, and some people probably go, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we had one guy quit at noon.
I believe that.
He started out there one day and he didn't come back after lunch.
Yeah.
I mean,
it ain't that bad.
No,
not at all.
No, there's some good guys out there in the shop.
Hard workers.
Hard-working guys that take care of a lot of equipment for us. So, I mean, the point of it is for you to learn a little bit. Just being out there a month or two is you can learn a little bit about what the driver's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you already seen some of that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you surprise some of them?
Knowing? A few of them.
Did you?
Yeah, they're like, how'd you know that? And I was like, well, I've actually worked on them trailers before.
Yeah.
So it did help.
Yeah, well, any of that, I think it builds confidence with those guys too, don't you?
Kind of know what you're talking about and, what they kind of deal with on a daily basis as far as like adjusting brakes and the little stuff they have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, how do you know that, man? You're 22. You don't know this stuff. Yeah. No, I think that's good to be able to learn that out in the shop and bring it in here into the office. Oakley Trucking is a 100% owner-operator company. We specialize in hopper bottom, end dump, and pneumatic trailers. We provide the trailer free of charge, and you provide the truck. We have a large customer base that reaches the whole United States as well as parts of Canada. Our owner-operators live anywhere from Texas to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin and everywhere in between, and we get them home weekends. We take it seriously when you join Oakley Trucking because we need you to be successful. Oakley offers great benefits and competitive mileage pay, so you know that when your wheels are turning, you're generating money no matter if you're loaded or empty. We understand that you want to make a good living and that you make our living. We only take on independent contractors, and to be honest with you, we are very particular on who we lease on. You must have a good driving record, good work history, and clean, dependable truck. So if you're interested in Oakley Trucking or just want some more information, you can go to oakleytrucking.com, listen to our weekly podcast, The Oakley Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So now that you're in here in the office, we kind of throw you in the fire. We got one of you guys, Lawson, you're doing hopper division.
Yes, sir.
And you're doing end dump division, Brandon.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So tell us about your first week or two at the office.
Well, my first week, there was a couple people actually out on vacation. Russell was out, so I was kind of helping Chase. Me and him I was answering calls, and I probably answered 1,000 phone calls that week. And
You ain't lying.
but no, it just kind of threw me in the fire, and
nobody wanted to talk to you, did they?
no.
None of the drivers?
Where's my dispatcher?
Yeah.
I want to talk to him. But no, it's okay. I get it.
How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, same experience, man. It's very different from anything I've ever done. And, you come in here not knowing anything about trucking or dispatching trucks or, you get in here and you're answering about 1,000 calls and everyone's asking, where's Manuel, or, is Manuel leaving? Like, no, I'm just trying to learn, but it's different. You got to remember a lot of things,
Yeah,
Got to be on top of it all the time.
for sure.
That's probably one of the biggest things is kind of try to organize some chaos.
Yeah, organized.
Yeah.
That's it
Try.
right there.
Try.
Yeah.
The key word there, Lawson.
Yeah.
Try. Yeah. So what have you learned about end dumps that you didn't know, Brandon?
Well, I mean, I don't know, the coolest thing I think is, when I was little, I never realized how high those trailers go in the air, and that was a kind of cool thing to learn. All the different kinds of commodities we haul in them, there's a lot. Learned a lot in the last 5 months I've been here. It's hard to.
Now, you went through orientation.
I did, yeah.
Did you go through orientation?
I
yet?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is good. We try to get everybody to go through orientation. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a kind of going back to the shop thing, being able to put the dispatchers in the shoes of the owner-operators and kind of see, how Oakley builds them to be the best they can. And, I mean, the orientation was great. You learn a lot that, I think as just a regular dispatcher, you just wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything?
Safety, all that.
As far as like hazmat materials and all that, can't get this wet or versus sweeping out your trailer before you load this, things like that. If it gets out of the trailer, what do you do? Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't think about that stuff.
No.
Dumping procedure, avoiding power lines and making sure the load is, center in the trailer so you don't turn over a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about all that kind of stuff.
Very
It's good.
important.
Yeah. absolutely.
Cleaning out the trailer. Because Randolph spends all day Thursday, him and Carl a lot of times, hooking up guys and going over all that stuff, raising the trailers up. You was talking about, the first time you see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, because that was kind of recently, and I was like, man, I didn't really, it's scary,
Yeah.
being an owner operator, first time doing that, all to them, man. That's a hard job sometimes. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I would think it would be nerve wracking, until you get used to it.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
takes a little bit of getting used to.
Some of these guys probably just
Oh
get
yeah.
it done,
Oh yeah, they know what's going on. So what's going on over in the hopper division? Anything pressing over there? I mean, I know it's pretty busy. We
Yeah.
slowed down a little bit in August
Yeah.
and September.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Sound like y'all been humping it pretty good the last couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just hauling a bunch of granules.
Yeah,
That's always what we do.
that's a challenge
Yes,
for
sir.
sure. You got you learned some of your owner operators pretty good.
Yeah, I got 30 now. I've been dispatching, and a lot of them I know pretty good now.
And how long you been here? I don't know if I asked that or not.
I started in the shop the last week of May, so
Okay.
4 months.
All right. June, July, August, September. Yeah,
Yeah.
October. Okay.
Yeah.
And you already got 30 trucks.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 weeks I was in here, and I got 25 and said, here you go.
Who's training you?
Mainly Russell. He's been kind of my mentor.
Good.
So,
What about you, Brandon?
Manuel.
You got trucks of your own?
Oh, no, not
Right now?
yet. I've been helping Manuel with his 58 or so trucks at the moment. So,
I mean, that's a
but
hey,
hey, between the two of us, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think one thing this job teaches you to do is how to manage stress. Because, I mean, talking to 58 different guys, answer those phone calls, making sure they're planned, and all that stuff is, you gotta stay focused.
Yeah, that's a good point because, I guess it's been known dispatching's a stressful job. I mean, that's well known out in the trucking world.
Mm-hmm.
Dispatching can be one of the most stressful jobs there is, and handling it is, that's a whole nother thing. You got to figure out the ways to handle that. Which Manuel's been here for years. He probably, if he's got 58, he's figured out how to handle it.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the challenges you are going to have to figure out. I mean, is organization, handling stress. I mean, the what's y'all's biggest obstacles every day when you come in?
First thing, it's making sure everyone calls in by 9, and then, sometimes you get lost in the chaos, and there'll be like 2 or 3 you haven't heard of, and you're like, oh crap, we may not make that load, but that and getting the workflow open and looking at all that, getting that going, that's very important.
Explain workflow to people that are listening.
Workflow is just your washout tickets, your demerge sheets, and then on Wednesdays we get to look at everybody's settlements and make sure they're right. And every day it's like every day there's just a lot coming in there, and so
you mean y'all just don't dispatch them on a load and send it to them and that's it?
No, there's a lot of stuff to be doing, and just trying to book some freight. You're gonna have a guys down in this area and get stuff moving down there, and that's just the main challenge for me most of the time.
But you, Brandon?
I agree, man. I think it's the kind of juggling all the different responsibilities and still trying to get the guys moved and dispatched on stuff. I think that's hit it right on the head there.
Yeah.
I think finding freight sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's
Because you don't know anybody to call.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I mean, not being mean, but it takes years to figure out.
Get contacts and connections places. Yeah.
For sure.
And that's something that we focused on for years was making sure the guy had a load, the next day. We cannot let them, hang out too long. We got to figure out something and try to figure out something that's profitable for both of us.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But you talk about workflow, and I think a lot of people don't realize what all you guys do in the dispatch as far as, and we see it because some owner-operators will have a question about a settlement or something, and they call up here wanting to talk to payroll.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, he is your payroll. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one that has to make sure it's paid right.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We got a great payroll department that handles takes a lot of pressure off of you. But you got to make sure it's right. And if they've got a question, they need to ask you about any demerge or any reimbursement for wash tickets or any of that kind of stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, then that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it's what would you tell an owner operator out there that would help make your job a little bit smoother?
Sometime we've been getting better at it, but make sure you turn in your wash receipts. I hate having to charge a guy for a washout, but it's just like you get a bill in the mail, you want to know what you're being charged for. The merge sheets, just make sure it's legible. That's the big thing. Got to be able to read it, and accuracy on it too. It's tough you got a million things going on, and you get this emergency, you're like, well, I got to call him back and rescan it in and things like that.
Yeah. Paperwork is a big deal.
Yeah. Hunting and paperwork takes a portion of time that sometimes we don't really have, you know.
What? And what'd you say? What
Like
in paperwork?
hunting paperwork down.
Oh, hunting paperwork down. Yeah.
Kind of takes up time that we could use to plan a guy or, you know.
Yeah, and it's got to be done because that's
Yeah.
where it's as much as we would love to just load and deliver the load and everybody get paid, there's a lot of stuff in between there.
Yeah.
When you're talking about customers and trying to get them to pay us, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially when it comes to demerge, that's a whole nother episode we won't get into. But you're right, being legible, being able to read it, because that piece of paper is going to that customer, and they got to approve whether they're going to pay us or not. So, I mean, all paperwork. We could have a whole episode on paperwork. At demerge. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's part of it, part of doing the job, and I think that's great because I mean, it's part of your job that you do that we probably didn't tell you when we interviewed you.
No.
we kind of hid that one out there. Don't tell you all the responsibilities till you get here and see if you're gonna hang. You guys talk to customers too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
How's that going? I mean, don't you got to get some confidence to be able to do that?
Yeah, you got to be positive and friendly and enthusiastic with your customers, man. I think what Manley was talking about in one of the meetings is, you know, make them feel like they're our only customer. Make them feel special, you know, and you got to, you know, treat every customer like that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, because you're constantly wanting to get more of them.
Yeah.
You're going to need more of them.
Yeah.
For sure. How is it getting, I guess you started probably getting the new guys, you know, that come in through orientation, and then you started getting a new guy or two. Have you gotten any sit down with some new guys with Manuel?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that first conversation is pretty important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Set the boundaries right off the bat.
Expectation, the tone of how it's going to go,
Yep, because they've listened to me or Kent or Corey or Dustin, you know, coming through listen to the recruiter, and now we're passing them off to you guys.
Yeah.
And it's really a critical time.
Yeah.
Because as y'all know, you went through orientation, they're nervous to get started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now you're getting them, and you got to, like you said, set the tone and set boundaries and know what expectations you need to meet for them and they need to meet for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It takes some time to do it, for sure.
Yeah, I always enjoy it too, you know, just getting to meet the guy, and you can find out a lot about a person just in a little meeting like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 5 minutes, you can find out a whole lot.
Shoot, mine usually take like 30 minutes.
I'm finding out a lot about you guys, to be honest with you. We've covered, you know, some of the challenges, dispatching. I think, you know, I mean, owner-operators is a whole lot different than company drivers. And I think, you know, putting that in perspective to where they are an independent contractor and have their own business, but pulling our trailer, so we got a partnership going on, and we both got to be pulling in the same direction, makes a big difference. Have y'all realized that yet?
Yeah. It kind of hit me when I started dispatching my own trucks, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That they rely on you.
Yeah. You make their living. You are.
We rely on them too. I mean, like I said, it's a mutual two-way street.
Doesn't it feel good, though, when you look at that? You talk about looking at their settlements every week.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that feel good?
Makes you proud.
When you can see that settlement or that guy's made a good check, and you helped him do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it makes a big deal. And that's what I want the owner-operators out there listening to this podcast is, you know, they can see the sincerity with us of we want them to be successful, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, why would we not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need them to be successful and be able to stay here for a long time. That's what helps make this company what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And having you guys come on up the ladder helps us make it too, man. I appreciate y'all doing what you do and working out in the shop and going through orientation and realizing, I can tell just by sitting down and talking to you, you know, it means a lot to you.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it should, because we got a lot of responsibility here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all got a lot of responsibility.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Anything else you'd like to add? Y'all think of?
Just thankful to be here.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best. It's the best company I've worked for. It's
Awesome.
amazing here. So proud of it.
Well, appreciate what you guys do every day. It goes a long ways. You know, a lot of times dispatchers don't get thanked enough, and you know that's part of it. Truck drivers don't either. We're in that world of the trucking world where trucking companies don't get thanked a whole lot anymore. But you know that's all right. We pat each other on the back enough, you know, that we know it's getting done around here. So I appreciate you guys sitting down with me and talking about your journey over here and your story. And you've been here for, you said since May. Did I ask you how long you've been here, Brandon?
April.
Since April. So about the same. Y'all started about the same. So that's good. You can kind of gauge each other as you go through this career and talk about dumps and hoppers and stuff. So
Yes, sir.
all right. Well, I appreciate everybody listening to the Oakley Podcast. Some of you guys are great listeners out there, and I appreciate the feedback. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you on things you want to hear about. This is something we need to do more of. We started off, you know, in the beginning doing some of this, meeting some of the office people, you know, dispatchers and safety and recruiting. We need to do more of that because I think it really helps as a company to for you to see us and you hear us, and I talk to these guys, and I mean you can kind of tell what's going on here. So if you haven't met them, for sure, come in and meet them. Come in the office, say hi, and visit with us a little bit because we sure like to get to know you. As always, I appreciate everybody listening, whether it's through YouTube or Facebook or the email Annabelle sends out every Wednesday. I really appreciate y'all listening to it and commenting on it and liking, subscribing. Please do all that. It helps us get the word out to everybody else out there. And as always, I appreciate y'all listening. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks.